Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to this program. I'll be taking just a few minutes to talk about credit. So you see, problem we face nowadays is people saying it's hard to. Sorry, can you see my screen, everyone?
Yes.
You can see the slideshow, right?
Yes.
All right. People talk about how hard it is for startup to get credit. We're always quick to put the blame on the finance institution, like these people don't want to give me loan. Whereas in most cases, that's not the case. We need to take time to examine ourselves to see if we ourselves are credit worthy. Banks are not NGOs, finance institutions are not NGOs. If they are giving you money, they need to know that the credit they are giving to you is coming back. Banks, they care about the profit, but we care most about our principal. Even if we can't get our profit back, we should be able to get our principal back to us. So today, I'll be taking us through some things that as individuals or as SMEs, we need to self-check ourselves first before applying for loans or credit in organizations. So first, I'll be talking about, this is a table of contents. I'll be talking about basically what it's called the 5 C's of credit. The first one, character, capacity, contribution, collateral, and condition. Let's quickly go to character. As defined here, character, it plays a big role in lenders, in our decision to give you money or not. Because we ideally give people with good character money. So character here is simply just another word for your credit score. A lot of individuals or SMEs don't know that for every institution they get money from, the record is sent to the credit bureaus in the country. We have CRC and First Central and one other credit bureau in Nigeria operating legally in Nigeria right now. We also have a couple that are coming up. I know of a new one that was launched this year. It's called Blacklist. Blacklist, they put together bad creditors, and their mission is to kind of kick those people out of the market totally. So those people cannot access credit anywhere in the Nigerian market. So character basically is your credit score. Every time you take money from a bank, every month, your record is sent to a financial. Your record is sent from the financial institution rather to the credit bureau for record keeping, so that other creditors, other loan companies or financial institutions can assess your credit worthiness from there. It is through your character or your credit report that banks and financial institutions can assess if you are credit worthy. Let's take, for example, you're operating a business. Will you sell to anyone who has never bought from you before on credit? If I walk into your institution right now or your business to tell you I need this amount of products, but trust me, because I'm a Christian, that I will bring back your money after selling, will you do that? No. You need to have a relationship. You need to have a good character that is not questionable for me to trust you enough to give you that money. Banks and financial institutions do that as well when they are giving you credit. How do bank determine your credit report or build your credit report? So here I'm showing a slide that shows the different kind of credit ratings. So I picked this from one of the credit reports. I drew this out during the week. So you see we have the high risk, fair risk, medium risk, and low risk. If you're on the high risk part, banks or financial institutions will almost never give you loan, because your high risk profile is showing that you have a bad character of not paying back your loans. Mind you, this high risk profile is reported based on the different definitions you've seen down, the two other pictures you have under the first one. So here you have the way different financial institutions rate your credit report basically. Financial banks and other commercial banks basically, they have more liquidity. Banks basically have more liquidity, they have more money, and they can afford to leave their money outside with you for a very long time. Here we have banks giving you up to 90 days. Even if after you don't pay your loan back to a bank, after 90 days, they still allow you and tell you the loan is performing. Whereas it's different for microbanks and issuing houses and finance houses. After 30 days of not paying back your loan, the finance houses and microfinance bank, they already rate your credit as substandard. It means you haven't serviced that loan in the last 30 days and you're already in default. That portfolio that's given out to you is already at risk, right? Whereas a bank, a commercial bank rather, won't rate you as substandard till you haven't paid for the next 91 to 160 days. That's the same period that a microfinance bank will rate you as lost. It means, well, we can't get this money back. It's already recorded as lost in their book. Whereas a bank will take you up to 365 days to record your loan as lost. So what I'm trying to do here is when you're borrowing money from a financial institution, be it a commercial bank or a microfinance bank, if you know the stats on how we rate you to know if you're credit worthy or not, you need to understand that banks or bigger financial institutions, they give you a longer period to make payments, whereas microfinance banks and finance houses, we don't have that patience because we don't have the liquidity that this big bank have. Good credit report will avail you of good opportunities, or avail you the opportunity to take avail you the chance rather to take good opportunities when they come up in the market. That's for good character. So what constitutes good character? Good character basically is you paying your debt on time. Basically, having a clean record, having a low risk profile. How do you build that good character? It's easy. Take up loans and repay. That's it. The more you take loans and the more you repay these loans, individuals, financial institutions will be willing to give you loan because your credit report has shown that you are a person of good character. This person always pays his debt. And if, for example, that you don't have the money to pay debt and you're going at risk of getting into the bad books, getting into a high risk borrower, always try your best to go into the bank to restructure your loans. We allow that. Financial institutions are always open to loan refinancing or loan restructure. So it's what everyone should do. Build a good credit, take loans, and repay on time. It's the easiest and simplest way to get a good character and get good credit report. The next thing is capacity. So after discussing the first one, which is character, if your character is questionable, you have a high risk profile, banks and financial institutions will now look at the next C, capacity. Do you have the capacity to pay back this loan if we decide to give you? Mind you, capacity and character are the two most important C's in the 5 C's of credit. All financial institutions go through this when giving you credit. Capacity, here, the bank or financial institution will compare your revenue to your recurring debt, and then we assess your debt to income ratio. Debt to income ratio is basically how much loan you have to pay every month compared to the salary you are earning. Typically, banks and financial institutions will put our debt to income ratio, DTI, at 35%. When we have a questionable character, we ask you, okay, you know what, give us your bank statement. Let's review your bank statement to see if you can repay our loan. What we look out for basically is your DTI. We want to know that at every point in time, your income is able to cover up what you're owing for the month and then your basic needs for life. You need to parent, you need to feed, you need to pay the children's school fees and stuff like that. So we need to see that your debt to income ratio is able to cover it. Let's take, for example, you're earning, say, 100 Naira every month, and then your debt to income ratio is 35% already. You have to pay 35 Naira as loan repayment every month. It will be hard for institutions to give you loan because we believe that you won't take us as priority when paying back because you have other obligations to pay first before you pay to us. So it will be hard for us to give you that credit because we already see your debt to income ratio is high. You get it? So also note that in your credit reports, which review from the character, it's listed there how much you owe every month. Your monthly instrumental payment is listed there. So I can see clearly after viewing your credit report, your debt to income ratio when I ask for your bank account. I have someone who I treated recently who I declined the loan. The person earns about 900,000 monthly. And then when I view the credit report, his instrumental payment, monthly instrumental payment is about 1.3 million. It already shows me clearly this person doesn't have the capacity to repay these loans, because what he's paying as loans every month is already over what he earns every month. 900,000 to 1.3 million. So how are you going to pay my loan if you take it? What this person is going to be running is what do I call it? A personal Ponzi scheme right now, because every month we have to take loan from Mr. A to pay Mr. B, and it keeps going that way. He will never be out of loans. He will never be able to clear out his debt because his income doesn't match his borrowing rate. So capacity is what banks look at, what financial institutions look at when they give you credit. The next time a bank asks you for your bank statement, know that this is what you're looking for. Banks are not venture capitalists or private equities, right? Banks will need our money back. Credit officers will need our money back. It's only venture capitalists that will give you money based on what they perceive you will become, based on your perceived growth rate. No, we as financial institutions, we don't do that. We want our money back, so we don't give you money till we are sure that you are able to repay. So we'll discuss the first two, character and capacity. The next is collateral. Where character and capacity fails, character comes in and collateral comes in. Collateral is simply an item you pledge. Collateral is an asset to fall back to if you're not able to repay your debt. Where I work right now, we are a fintech company, right? And we give loans to people using their vehicles as collateral. It's simple. We notice that Nigerians right now, many people don't even know anything about credit scores or credit worthiness. They just want to take money and they keep complaining that they're not getting loans, not knowing that we have a record of them and the people they've gotten loans from before that they haven't repaid. So to mitigate risk of non-repayment, we start using cars as collateral. Even though you get to still drive the car, we say, okay, you know what, pledge your car to us, sign your car over to us, and we'll give you the money you need, right? We have other mitigating factors though, but that's the basic, based on collateral. Pledge your car to us so that when it's time for repayment and after your grace period, you're not able to pay, we are able to sell that car and regain our money. Collateral, that's what it is. So when you don't pass the character check and you don't pass the capacity check of repaying, financial institutions will ask you for a collateral. It's simple and straight. Collaterals are known as, when you use collateral to access loans, it's known as secured lending. There are basically two types of lending, unsecured and secured. Unsecured is the one, Carbon and the other mobile credit companies, they do. You don't need to submit anything, just give them your BVN and your house address and an ID, and they're able to give you loan. That's unsecured. But you won't be able to get as much money as someone who puts forward a collateral to access the loan. So collateral are basically alternative to cash if a business fails to repay. The next we'll be looking at is contribution or capital. Contribution is basically what you put towards that business. It's stated here that investing in your own business shows that you believe in it. How much money you have personally put in the business is your contribution to the business. It's like your share capital, right? So what you contribute to your business, when banks have reviewed the first three, banks will always ask you, or financial institutions rather, loan companies will ask you for a contribution. Let's take a mortgage, for example. It's easier to gain mortgage, it's easier to get your mortgage loan approved if you have a certain contribution to that mortgage, then you just walk into an institution and ask that they can pay the full amount for you. It's easier when you have a contribution. That's what contribution does for us. So when we've assessed the first three and we see that your character is questionable, you probably don't have the capacity to pay, you don't have enough collateral to cover for the loan, we ask you for a contribution. So we tell you, put so and so amount towards this and we will fund the rest. The fourth C of credits, fourth C of credit. So I'm rushing through this because of my time, and I hope we'll have some other meetings in the future where I can break into this very much. So the last one is condition. Conditions are specific to every loan you get as SMEs or as individuals. Conditions is the terms and conditions of the loan. Conditions is your credit and security agreement you sign. People don't read this. People look at it like it's one huge document that's, like accepting terms and conditions when you're installing Microsoft Word. Nobody reads that thing. But for your loans as SMEs, as individuals, please take out time to read these things. There are plenty of conditions there that you wouldn't know of till the loan officers, enforces them. And then that's when you start crying that, oh, I didn't see this. But ignorance is not an excuse at that time. Many things affect the conditions of your loan. Like the conditions include the interest rate, the principal amount, the tenure, and economic conditions. As a loan officer, I won't give you loan today at a percentage that is not favorable to me. Last time I checked, I don't know what the current inflation rate is right now. I know it's about 13, 14, 15%. It means for every 100 naira I give you right now, when it's coming back, it's not coming back as 100 naira. It's coming back as 85 naira. Because over time, during that period of loan, inflation has taken out 15% of that money already. So how am I going to make sure that my money retains its value? What I'll simply do is to put my interest rate at 15%. This is just the easier way to do it, but there are more technicalities to it. I'll put my interest rate at 15% so that when the money is coming back, it's coming back as 115 naira. Remember, inflation is 15%. It means my 115 naira in the real terms is actually 100 naira. It means that the thing I would have bought for 100 naira when you took the loan, I am paying 150 naira for it now. I basically have not made any gain from that transaction because of inflation. So inflation affects the condition of a loan, or the interest rather of a loan. Lenders assess risk based on how the borrower plans to use the money should they receive it. I'm not going to give you money. Say I'm offering an SME loan now, and you're coming to take an SME loan to buy a car. I won't approve that loan because how will you pay? Except you're using that car for commercial purpose, except you're using it to run maybe Uber or Bolt and you're making income from it. I won't give you money to do dirty December because I am not sure how you will pay it. Condition. Your principal amount is affected too by the condition. So these conditions, they are two-sided basically, from either the borrower or the institution lending you the money. Conditions also relate to capacity. When your capacity fails, conditions come in. When your character fails, conditions come in. So if you notice, apart from the regular, terms and conditions for loan from bank, the generic ones, everyone, when you're getting some kind of loans, your contract is always different from the other person because this bank have reviewed your 5 Cs and see if they're questionable characters, the conditions for offering you that loan has to change because they need to make sure that whatever they're doing, whatever amount they're giving out, the money is coming back and it's coming back with something, interest, profit at least. So I'll just round up by why is the 5 Cs of credit important? It's stated here, the 5 Cs are used by lenders to determine if your loan application is credit worthy and to set interest rates and credit limitation. Going back to the 5 Cs again, if your capacity tells me that you cannot pay 100 naira every month as loan, I have no reason giving you 1,000 naira for 1 month. Because how will you pay? 5 C's of credit. They contribute in determining the borrower's riskiness or the possibility that the loan and principal will be returned in full and on time. We don't just want our money back over 12 months. We don't want to keep chasing SMEs to give us our money back. We want it right on time, because for every minute that money spent outside, not back in our active portfolio, we are running at a loss. And no institution is in business rather to make a loss. So I'll just cut it out here. Again, I've shared the 5 C's of credit: character, capacity, collateral, capital, and condition. Capital is also contribution. So before we as SMEs assess or think of assessing any loan, we need to look through this. We need to assess ourselves first before moving on to apply for this credit. So we don't always get disappointed when institutions keep asking us for more information about what we're doing, or when they turn us down. Assess yourself first, and I promise you that assessing credit will be much, much easier if we're able to assess ourselves effectively with these 5 C's of credit I've stated here. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Omo. Thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. Even I was also taking notes on my side, and thank you so much for the excellent presentation. Again, Omo is currently the head of credit and risk operations at Synergy Limited, Cash Drive, a fintech company in Nigeria with a mission to ease access to credit and deepen insurance penetration in Nigeria. Omo's email is available in the flyers that we've circulated before this, and of course you can see his email and his phone number on the screen. And you can always consult him if you have any questions, any information about what he just presented at this webinar. So thank you so much, Omo, and so let me stop the sharing.
Thank you to you. It was a pleasure.
Yes, thank you.